Hey there, what's going on? Welcome to the Creative Time Chamber Show. This is the 5-minute show helping you grow from shy creative to confident creative. Hope you've been creating cool things recently. However, today's topic we're going to talk through the opposite, creating uncool things, making more crappy work. What's the importance of crappy work? Why should you create more crappy work? And Jay, are you telling me to put this in my portfolio? Let's get into it. Remember when Instagram was just about posting food and travel pics and all you had was their default filters? The emphasis was on sharing the everyday. Then the platform evolved into this professional, clean, immaculate profile grid. Now we do have stories and reels for those less polished pieces, but the bar to create professional looking work is constantly rising. And you might be looking at all these professional pieces of work and wonder, how can I be at that level? It's one of the reasons why I've stepped away from Instagram, at least for now, and have been super active on Twitter. Twitter is for thinkers and the platform feels more conducive for imperfect and scrappy thoughts. Platforms aside, hear me out for a second, it's way better to have crap work than no work. If you're focused on the outcome, you can't focus on starting. And if you listen back to a couple episodes ago, there is no perfect starting point. And often the belief is you need a perfect plan to start, but you don't need a perfect start. On the contrary, after a good amount of time creating, you're going to notice improvements. Seeing a gallery of your work is super useful and it's all just data at that point. You're finding what not to do, and that's valuable in and of itself. You're learning to fail less. You're also building a track record of completed projects, and this experimentation is only going to get you closer to what you love doing. So rather than creating your best work now, stop trying to create perfect work and knock out more crappy work. Full disclosure, I'm not advocating you create crappy work for the day job. If you're a designer, we want to accept jobs, not lose them. What I will say, in the interviews I've had, all have been impressed by the work I've created semi-related to the role because it shows a few things. It demonstrates your passion as a creative, that you're proactive and a self-starter, and it differentiates you from the other candidates. And what I did was package what was quote-unquote crappy work into a project where you can show you can get results. I just be careful and be considerate about mentioning side projects in interviews, and I realize I'm giving job hunting advice, but it's not what I want to do. But I'm sure if you can demonstrate how your side projects can benefit the skills needed for the role, then that's one thing to consider. The quality versus quantity debates comes into this too. Do you focus on quality of work or focus on quantity? Consider you had the same time for each. Do you get better by creating more in that length of time, or get better by creating one good piece in that same amount of time? And I tried to find the tweet which had some great responses to this question. Wish I had saved it when I was doing research for the topic. But for me, I'm in the quantity camp. Drawing the same thing every day, drawing the same subject for a year, by the end of the year you would see significant results, as opposed to I'm going to draw this subject once and do my best to create something awesome, where it's likely you will improve only a little. I believe most, if not all, creators have produced crappy work and we just don't see it. And should creators show more? Yeah, we need more crappy work. Those designers, those agencies have gone through rounds and rounds of revisions, and if you've seen the inner workings, aka the artboards of a designer, then yeah, you would see all the bad stuff and all the iterations. Of course, there's the other side where polished work will serve you better than unpolished work. That's a given, but where is your corner to play? Try create a digital space for yourself so that you can see your progress evolve and watch yourself get better. And as I've mentioned, crappy work is what allows you to make room for better work. You'll be developing your skills, find shortcuts, and think quicker because purely focused on just creating. So one question for you, what's your bar for creating crappy work? Is it 50, 60, or 70% perfect? Whatever that is, ship it. Write down the criteria for you to allow yourself to create crappy work. And as James Clear puts it, permission to create junk, which is a fantastic read, by the way, way better than what I've talked about here. And I will link that article in the description if you wanted to read more. But the essence of what James says is, he describes the idea of being a gold miner, and you got to sift through all the rubbish and dirt to find the gold. So start making a mess and go back to the OG pencil and paper. Get loose with your work, your ideas, and don't hold back, because this kind of experimentation is more useful than trying to refine your work at the start. If anything, the main takeaway for today's episode: give yourself permission to create crappy work. Creators who are in the very beginnings of their journey will take inspiration from the not so glamorous work you produce, so I suggest to share it. And that's it for today's episode of the Creative Time Chamber. Much appreciate your time and for reaching the end, and hopefully this has been useful for you to hear. I'm genuinely curious what you thought of today's topic. I know there are some creators out there who would say there's already enough crap work out there and that there's a lack of actual good designers. It will be interesting to hear what you think. Before you end the video, give this one a quick like. But for now, take it easy. You have been in the Creative Time Chamber, where you enter shy and leave a more confident creative.